Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Tuesday, February the 14th, 2017. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. We create four main hypotheses in order to have a plan in place. We do not know what the market's going to do. We can only have a plan in place and then determine what the market is doing once the RTH session opens up, and then use the plan that best suits what the market is doing. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, please send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. Okay, so taking a look at the news today, we did have PPI and core PPI month over month at 8:30 Eastern. They did come out as a beat. Expected 0.3, came out at 0.6, and the core PPI was expecting at 0.2, came out at 0.4. The big scheduled news today is the fact that Fed will be testifying to Congress, and she'll be testifying for today and tomorrow. We've got the Fed monetary policy report coming out at that same time, 10 Eastern. And then at 1 o'clock, we've got Kaplan from FOMC speaking. And other than that, there's no other scheduled news. But again, Yellen will be testifying pretty much most of the morning into the afternoon. So expect the markets to see some volatility as she is testifying. Taking a look at the macro to micro, I always like to start my day doing that. I start with a simple candlestick chart. I start with the monthly. I use a 9 EMA, 20 SMA. Those are always my moving averages that I use. I'm looking for slope and separation of the moving averages for the strength of the trend, where the trend is being challenged or violated, and any type of candlestick patterns or chart patterns. Beautiful multi-year upward trend on the monthly, challenged at the end of 15, beginning of 16. Then we got back above the 9 and the 20, had the rising 3 continuation pattern on the monthly, and we got the continuation. We've got good slope, good separation. We just put in a new all-time high. We're currently trading just under that new all-time high, so we're seeing strength of trend on the monthly. On the weekly, same thing. We've got very good slope and separation. Do have a bit of a technical gap here. We did put in a new all-time high yesterday, and we've got probably a little bit of exhaustion. We've got 3 gaps on the daily RTH, so I'm looking for more of a sideways action. Although with Yellen testifying, there's anything is possible. But the trend is still up on the weekly, and we do not even begin to challenge it until we get back below 2,300. On the daily, basically the same thing. So far, we're inside of the prior range full session, so we have not gone and put in a new high. We do have a weak high on the Globex. We've got a double top at 2750. We do have a technical gap here on the daily as well. That doesn't get challenged until we get down to the 2304 area, and we're getting slope and separation on the daily. Trend is still intact on the daily. Moving down to the intraday, we do have a Mr. Sneaky with a technical gap on the 4-hour. We've started to move down in the Globex. They got as low as 23.25, the Globex low, and then they basically, found some buyers, and they're rotating it back up. But we are seeing a little bit of resistance here at the 23.27. You can see that the double top came in early on the test of the 23.27, and then just in the last 30 minutes, we went up and tested again. The gap close won't come until we get back into probably around 22, 23 area. We could close this technical gap sideways, but we do have the Mr. Sneaky. I wouldn't really consider, you could say that this is a FUBAR Mr. Sneaky, but it's more of a regular Mr. Sneaky combined with a bit of a gap. Going to the 1 hour, you can see that we've lost some separation, but we still have some slope. Is there something going on here? Potential cup and handle in the Globex. Yeah, we've got a potential cup. We have not put in the handle yet, but we can go down to the smaller time frame. But as it is right now, we're challenging the trend on the 1 hour and seeing a possible move below the 9 and the 20. As we move down to the 30-minute, you can see here's the cup. We can take a look at this quickly. This would be the left rim, right rim, in order to get the validation of the pattern. We have that with this move down here below the 25. It gets violated if we get below basically around 24.50. I would be looking at the 20 SMA, and then oops, I don't want time slices, I want extensions. And then if we do get the breakout, and again, in this type of action, these type of patterns can get invalidated because of the fact that we're dealing with all-time highs. I would not try to take this pattern unless we get a breakout above the 27.50. But see, we're already coming down and challenging this already. So this is probably going to be invalidated. But if it holds here, remember Bolkowski uses 65%. I use the fib instead. That's just me. So this could break a little bit lower on my chart and still be valid. The extended move, if it sets up and holds, is 23.30. And remember, we have a measured move on the daily, I believe it is, at the 23.30.75. So this would coincide and have confluence with this. Let's just take these drawings off. But we are challenging the trend right now. We're testing the 20 from above. We've got a zipper down here in around the 24 area. I'd be looking to see how they handle that if they break below the 20 SMA. If they don't, then I'd be looking for a bigger move down, probably into the 22.50 area. Going to the 15-minute, you can see that we are breaking below the 9 and the 20. So we are getting a challenge to the trend early on the smaller time frame coming into the RTH, and going to the 5-minute, you can see that we've broken below and closed below the 9 and the 20. We do have a naked cross that's going to set up here at the 26.25 area, but we are seeing some weakness. Watch down here in the 24 area on the 5-minute to see if we get some support down in the zipper right here. Taking a look at the bigger picture structure, we had medium time frame, long time frame. We were in this balance area with the microcomposite in around the 22, 64, 75. Then we broke out of the value area, gapped up, created an island top, came back down, found buyers back at the microcomposite VPOC, accepted price higher above value here at the 76, gapped up, accepted that price that we created the microcomposite VPOC from the island top. We came up and we accepted that price, gap up, breakout, go into price discovery, create new all-time highs, gap up again, and now we're up here after 3 gaps, 1, 2, 3 gaps, and we're trading just basically, roughly 3.5 points off of the all-time high that we put in yesterday. We're likely to get chop in this area. I'm looking for rotational day with most likely, and I use that term lightly, my bias is that we're probably going to see a neutral day to a neutral extreme. And I would love to see a neutral extreme and violate the one-time framing up and come down and start closing this gap. And that would give us a nice setup to get a bigger rotation back down towards the 2303 75 area and close these two gaps, if not back to 2289, and leave an interim high in. I don't know if that's going to happen. Nobody can tell you if it is. Key levels to watch here right now is the 2450. There's actually an LVN from yesterday at 2375, so that's the price that I'm going to be paying attention to. This is a double distribution day. If I put a profile in here, you can see that we had a double distribution. We left the VPOC down here at 2322. So the LVN between the two distribution zones gives us an opportunity with the break. A, you'll be below the 2450. B, you'll be below, if we get below the 2375, you've got a nice setup into taking out the naked VPOC from yesterday. So taking a look at yesterday, you see that we gapped up, we opened up, we basically had a drive-like, it was an open auction out of range, but we had more like a drive-like rotation. Our main hypothesis was an open auction out of range, a move down and finding responsive or initiative buyers down here somewhere between the range high and the value area high, and we are looking for that continuation up and a move to take out the all-time high and equalize. We had an unequalized high. We had a Globex high that needed to be taken out yesterday. And so that was hypo 1, and we were looking for a move up towards the daily ATR. Yesterday's daily ATR was 2330, and we got as high as 29, and then we sort of just drifted down sideways, creating this beautiful double distribution day. But we didn't quite get, our hypo 3 was an open drive and a push up and a break through the 3075 and coming up into the 30, into the mid 30s. We didn't really get that. So we got really hypo 1 with a very shallow pullback. So yesterday, double distribution, we've got the VPOC below it, never shifted up on the move up. Although there's only about 20,000 contracts between the VPOC, the naked VPOC, and the HVN from the upper distribution here at 2625. So overnight, our inventory is neutral to net short. You can see that we've got this this double top. We opened the Globex at 2326.50. And we're only able to extend it by 4 ticks to the 2750, and then most of the night was a rotation back to test the LVN from the prior day, and we got down here. They started finding buyers getting absorption down here, and then they started to rally once the European session came in, and we rotated back up, put in the week high, the double top at 2750, and then since then we've sold off, and we're coming back down into that 24 area. So inventory is net short to negative to slightly neutral. It's for the most part it was pretty balanced. profile, even though it did create this bit of a double distribution. The VPOC just did shift up in the last 30 minutes from down here at the 24. For the most part, the European session, as we had that absorption come in, shifted the VPOC down, and then they rotated it back up, and we just got a shift. So we could get a shift again. There's still 30 minutes to go in the Globex. So we could get a shift back down. If we come down here into the 24, we could see the VPOC shift back down. All right, so, and that VPOC shift is going to be a good representation of price rejection from the prior day becoming price acceptance in the Globex as they fight this double distribution. And you see this all the time where they come down to an LVN, a low volume node, and they chop around in that area and create a high volume node as they fight this level. So key levels, 27.50, our overnight high, our overnight low, 23.25. We do have an LVN here in the Globex at 25. I don't think it's as important as the LVN. Now you could use the 24.50, but because there's an LVN there, these two LVNs are pretty equal, but I'm using the 23.75 because of the fact that it is the midpoint. So I'm going to be using that as a key trade level. Really, I have to use this whole little range here between the 23.75 and the 24.75 because of the LVN here, and because of the fact that, in order to get long, I want to make sure that I'm above that 24.50 area. Likely going to take out the overnight low if we do not get back above 25, but that's just my own conjecture. Below the 24 or 23.75, we want to see the overnight low taken out and a move back down into take out the naked VPOC. Our value area low is valid at 2050. Our value area high is up here at 2650 with target above at the 2750, and of course the all-time high at the 29, and then the range low. And you can see we don't need this anymore, so let's get rid of this. Let's just extend this out. You can see that our range low from yesterday is an LVN on the composite. Now, keep in mind that we're in brand new territory. The composite really is short-term price action because we've never been here before, but we have to use the 1850. You don't put too much emphasis on what the composite is showing right now, as much as putting the emphasis on the last 3 days of trading. We have to go to short time frame in terms of our price rejection and price acceptance because of the fact that we've never been in this territory. And this is a difficult area to trade. The next level, of course, is the gap close. We have a 1850 and 1575. So our half gap, the mid of the gap, is going to be 17.25. So this gap will remain open until we come down and test it from above and then from below. But we've got a solid target below the 1575. If we get back into Friday's range, we've got a nice target down here at the 23.1275, and our daily downside target, and that somehow got moved, I believe. Our range high is 2750. Our daily full session ATR is running at 1526. That's the 20 period. So minus 1526. takes us down to 1224. I thought that was wrong. So we have the daily downside ATR target just below this naked VPOC. And then we've got the 09 and then the range low from this day and the other gap, okay, which is, this gap right here is not a range gap. This is a close gap, a naked close. We have a naked close and a naked VPOC down here in the 2304 and 2303.75. So a little bit of different type of gap, but it's still considered a gap, in terms of if you trade gaps. Okay, so those are all the key levels. Above, we've got nothing to guide us. Our upside daily ATR target takes us up into the 2338.50. We do have the measured move up here at 2330.75, but other than that, there's not much more to guide us. So my hypotheses, my main hypothesis is an open auction out of range, open auction in range, and I'm actually looking for the high and the low to get taken out. We've got a pretty tight range. If we can hold this 24, I'm looking for them to rotate up into value area high, take out the naked close, pop up and take out the overnight high, and then I'm looking for responsive sellers and a rotation down to the 23.75, chop the LVN, and then fail and come down here into the 22, and then chop in the lower distribution with possibly a late day probe down into the 18 and possibly into the mid gap. I'm not sure we're going to see the downside ATR. I am looking for a neutral day. So if we get the neutral day and we're below the IB late in the day, I'll be looking for a late day probe for a possible neutral extreme. And I would love to see that because that shows some selling coming in and some weakness and an easier trade to take to the short side. So that's hypo 1. Hypo 1, open auction, in range, a move up, take out the naked close, the overnight high, find responsive sellers somewhere up in this area, and then come down, fight the LVN, fail, come down into lower distribution, taking out the naked VPOC and chopping down here, creating a neutral day, and possibly getting a late day probe down to test the low, possibly even lower, into the gap zone, and maybe even as far if we get an extreme down to the 1275. Hypo 2 is an open auction in range, a move down, take out the overnight low, come down into the lower distribution, and chop around in this area, break the IB to the low side, and then rotate up through the LVN and come up and test both sides of the double distribution and chop around in the upper distribution and close somewhere up here and get a range-bound neutral day, not a neutral extreme. So I'm expecting both sides of this, both hypo 1 and hypo 2, I'm expecting both sides of the double distribution to get tested. Just one test the upside first, the other one test the low side first. And then hypo 3 is an open auction, fail to take out the naked close or come up, but fail the overnight high. Then rotate down through to the VPOC, chop between the 20 and the 1850, and then fail miserably and come down and get a strong move down towards the 2312, chop around here and get a late day probe even down into the 2309, 2306, possibly even to the 2303.75. It's a lower probability. I really think we're going to see a balancing day, and that would be a classic. If that happens, that would be a classic turnaround Tuesday, trend day, but I'm not expecting that to happen. But with Yellen testifying, you never know. And then the last hypothesis is an open auction in range, fight this LVN, get a strong move up into the overnight high, chop around the overnight high and the all-time high at 29, and then get a breakout and a push through and get another continuation day and a push up into the 38.50 and close somewhere up here in the 38.50, if not in the low 40s. So those are my four main hypotheses. It is extremely difficult to trade these areas at all-time highs. The good thing is they gave us a double distribution day to trade off of. So our key line in the sand right now, our over-under line, is the 23.75 to 24.75 area. So don't get chopped up here. We're likely to challenge this, but you really don't want to be long below it, and you really don't want to be short above it. That's going to complete our well, let's take a quick look at gold. Gold has made a move up. We talked about this yesterday in yesterday's morning leap session, that we were looking for a test down here, but if we held this 21 area, we'd be looking for a bounce back up into the 28.50 area. We got that yesterday, and then last night we got continuation, and we came up, and right now we're chopping around the microcomposite VPOC. Our balance right now is 35. Our value area high on the last 4 days is 35.50. On the last 7 days, it's at 38. I'm expecting gold to chop in this area, mature this area of the profile. Key level to pay attention to will be this level right here at the 29 area. If we get back below the 29 area, then a move down to 27, more likely down to 23.40 area happen. But I really expect us to chop around here. Key level to pay attention to on the upside is the 38.90. If we get above the 38.90, look for a move up into the 41 area with resistance coming in at the 42.60 area. But again, I'm expecting more rotation today. We made most of the move in the Globex, actually even in the European session and early this morning, and now we're likely going to chop around this 35. So that's gonna. I'm sorry to take so long, but we had to deal with a lot of information. That's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.